continue.
All right. Welcome to WiscWeb's March Lunch and Learn. I'm Jenna Klinner. I'm the service coordinator for the WiscWeb team. I'm joined here by Matt Goins. You know Matt. And we also have someone from the Stratcom team here with us today. Kate Price is a designer on the team, and she had a big hand in the design of UW Theme 2.0, and she's going to be sharing some best practices today. So we have some really fun demo content that we can share. I'll kind of run through the agenda next. That's you, Matt. There you go. So first, we're going to talk about WiscWeb service updates and reminders. Then we're going to talk about UW Theme 2.0 migration updates and reminders. And then we have a number of little like kind of demo or presentations today. So we'll talk about those design best practices, as I said. Matt's going to show how to do the Kaltura embed, deep linking for tabs and accordions, removing stray paragraphs, removing default top margin, and the UW events plugin. WiscWeb service updates and reminders. As a reminder, unlaunched UW theme classic sites have until March 31st to launch in that environment. So if you have an old site that you started in the UW theme classic space and you haven't officially gone through the launch process, if you want that launched in that space, you're going to need to get that in by March 31st. If not, we're just going to ask that you migrate it before it gets launched. So just keep that in mind. There's fewer and fewer folks who are still unlaunched in that space, but I figured it'd be a good reminder. Also, as a reminder, Kaltura Embeds should be working now. So please go ahead and test that if you were waiting on that. And Matt is going to show a demo of that a little bit later. And then as a reminder, we have a feature request board for the theme. This is where we're asking that you both submit new features and now if you have bugs. I'll throw a link in the chat for that space if Matt didn't already.
I did not. I
Feature
didn't have it up
request
and
board.
ready.
No worries. So there's the feature request board. I'm sorry, Matt, can you go back to the last slide? There you go. We do recommend that if you have a new feature, if there's something that you are running up against that you would benefit from a new feature, or you have a bug that you're experiencing, then please add those to the feature request board. I put the link to the web page on there, which walks you through how to submit, but there is then also a link to the board from that page. If you see anything in that space, sorry, I'm also going to talk about office hours. If you see anything in that board where someone else has submitted a feature and you are interested in it, you can also upvote. Those instructions are also listed in that web page. And I also want to give a plug for our office hours, which I'll throw in the chat as well. So members of the WiscWeb team have different offerings in terms of virtual office hours. We have different days of the week and different formats that you can meet with us, different timing. Matt, myself, and our embedded help desk agent, Jose, are all available to meet with you as you work through your migration journey. So please do schedule time with us if you're running into anything or if you have questions about UW Theme 2.0. Also within that page, you will see that there's an opportunity to schedule design office hours with the two Stratcom designers for the theme, Ketter Joyner and Kate Price, who's here with us today. And then there's also a little blurb about how to get some accessibility help and office hours in that space as well. So those are just reminders for you. For UW Theme 2.0 migration updates and reminders, I just wanted to revisit some frequently asked questions that we've been getting that these are documented in the migration facts, but just to reiterate, yes, you do need to migrate your UW Theme Classic site if it's in WiscWeb by the end of this calendar year, so by the end of December. And yes, there is work involved. It's all documented in the knowledge base. We're happy to help you through that process if you have questions. But those are two questions that we've been getting from a few folks. We just want to make sure everyone's aware that you do need to migrate and you do have steps that you will have to do. And in that same vein, we wanted to make sure you knew what you could be doing now if you have not started yet. And that includes reviewing existing content and kind of paring it back, reviewing the element conversion table, which I can grab a link for unless Matt, you're able to grab that from the KB. The element conversion table just shows you how page elements in UW Theme Classic will migrate over to UW Theme 2.0 blocks. You can review the migration documentation and training videos that are in the knowledge base. You can test out the theme now in the WordPress playground to see what the editor is like and start orienting to that new space, which we highly recommend before doing your migration. And you can also do some road mapping of your time or road mapping to prepare for that time to migrate so that you have some time scheduled for that move. I'm going to give a general link to our migration documentation in the KB, which has these various links in it. And I'll also share the playground again. I know we've shared this in past sessions, but just in case folks have not seen it, the WordPress playground does exist. Content within that space goes away after you kind of refresh your page, but it is a nice opportunity to, like I said, orient to the theme and kind of understand how it works. Any questions about that? All right. Oop, I think we skipped one there.
We're skipping that one just
Oh,
because of the
okay.
fact that I don't know. I had hidden it. I don't know if I
Oh,
accidentally unhid it, but we'll
okay.
talk about it next month. There's something in there that we'll talk about next month, folks. So
Sounds good.
yeah.
So up next, we have Kate Price from the Office of Strategic Communication, who's going to talk about card style best practices. Welcome, Kate.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, as Jenna mentioned, I'm Kate Price. I'm a designer on the digital strategy team in Stratcom, and I'll be presenting on a few different design best practice topics related to the UW theme. So first up, we're going to talk about how to use the card style in the theme. So what is a card? A card is a type of visual container for your content. In the Theme 2.0, the style we most often characterize as a card includes a background color, usually white or light gray, an 8 pixel or 0.5 rem, those are the same thing, border radius, and a drop shadow. And just a note about background colors, the card background color should always contrast with the page background color. So here we have a couple examples, a white card on a light gray background and a light gray card on a white background. So when to use the card style? The use of the card style should be a content strategy choice over an aesthetic one. It's intended for often a series of small chunks of related content, usually with a call to action link. So here are a couple of good examples from the commencement site and the study abroad blog website. Both of these keep text brief. They have clear links and calls to action. They preview different options under a single subject matter. And elements within the set of cards are the same for visual consistency. So in your set, if you have a call to action link in one card, you should have a call to action link in all of them. And here's another example from our theme website. These examples condense more complex information, but they still fit into clear categories. And though there are multiple links in each, it's only a handful. So there are clear benefits to using the card style. It packages small amounts of content in a visually prominent way. It highlights important links and actions for users. And it's a great way to create a section of content that users can easily scan. So, this set of 3 things are visually similar, so they must be related. And rows of cards don't take up a lot of vertical real estate on desktop. How to avoid misusing or overusing cards. Most importantly, limit your content length. Cards should be easily scannable. When cards hold too much content, they stop feeling like quick previews and more like mini pages. Reserve the style for no more than a handful of sections on a page. Overuse of any one style can make scanning a page difficult due to lack of visual variety. When everything is prominent, then nothing is. And think outside the literal box. There are other ways to call attention to content that don't involve using the card style. So vary the layout from your other sections. Use simple and easy to understand language and labels, and use meaningful imagery. And I just included a screenshot here again from the UW theme site, which Ketter Joyner designed. Just very simple language, labels, meaningful images, clear calls to action. All right, next up is how to use the heading minibar style. So what is it? The minibar is a UW brand element that appears over headings in both the Classic and 2.0 themes. It also appears other places in the UW brand universe, in print, and other channels. In the refreshed Theme 2.0 design, we opted to scale back the use of the minibar slightly by making it optional on the heading block and leaving it off by default so as not to encourage overuse. So again, you can use the minibar to leverage the UW brand. It also can be helpful in creating subtle visual hierarchy across your heading levels. So how might you do this? It's a great way to distinguish heading sections. And in most cases, this will be at the H2 level. And this example video screenshot is from the Wisconsin Exchange website. You can see clear section headings, and the minibar works nicely to call those out. Page titles also look great with the minibar, especially if you aren't using a hero image. Without a hero image, the minibar just kind of distinguishes that page heading in a nice way. And as with any design element, avoid overuse. Don't use it on every heading level. So there might be instances when you break from a pattern of use that you've established because of how a section is designed. So the example here shows a full width, full bleed image section, with the make your message bold and concise heading, that, maybe departs from the regular visual cadence of your page. So, in instances like this, it's okay to break from your pattern of use, even if that is an H2, just like the other ones. And here's another example with the page title that uses what we call a mini hero page title pattern. So maybe on other pages, you have page titles with the mini bar, but in this example, since the page title is over an image, it may not be necessary. It may not look, it may look cluttered. So you might want to leave it off. Main takeaways for the minibar. Avoid overuse. Think about the best pattern of use for your page content and be consistent, of course, with exceptions for visual breaks in the page design. And just important aside, always check your heading level structure on your pages. And I just included a screenshot of the outline view of the left-hand document view panel, which is really useful it'll flag if you have inconsistencies in your heading structure. All right, last one for me is using red text in the theme. So do we use red text in the theme 2.0 default design? Mostly no. The only place we use it is in the label style to represent, which represents a content category, and it's just a small amount of supplemental text. Is it okay to use red for paragraph text? Don't do it. Red text can have different visual connotations, particularly in the digital space, like an error message. And it can also present readability and contrast issues for small text, especially for colorblind users. Is it okay to use red for links? Definitely don't do it. Again, red text can read like an error message and present readability issues. Blue is the most widely recognized color for links, so it's best to stick with the defaults here and not change the color, or use the more stylized UW single link black, which I show the different styles of that right here. How about headings? Mostly no, except in very limited cases. Like if you're designing a one-off, more marketing-focused content section. And here I have an example from our UW brand website, where we use a red heading on the homepage, and it's obviously can't stop a badger. It's very branded, marketing-focused content. And here's another example of a news story put out last year, still moving. It's a very visuals heavy, immersive storytelling piece. Not a lot of text, but the red headings here give a nice pop of color and used sparingly. So, Jenna, I don't know if you want to save questions for the very end or if we have time right
I
now.
think we could run through questions now
We have
if folks
we
have
have
any.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions about any of the design best practices that Kate provided? Anything that makes sense?
And again, just to plug the office hours, these are the kinds of conversations that Kate and Ketter will have with you when you have thoughts like, will this work? Won't this work? Things of that nature. Again, remember, you might have some great design ideas, but you have to worry about usability and accessibility at the end of the day. And your great design ideas might look okay, but they might not be the most usable or accessible things. So you have to be willing to give a little bit to make sure that your site can be used by everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. That was awesome. Oh, looks like there's a question from Justin. Is there a guide around accessible link text best practices? I don't think specifically around that.
Would that be something in the make it accessible guides? I don't know. I'll yield the floor to Daniela or Al if they have a thought on that.
I can send some links in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Daniela. And Justin, let us know if there was anything specific to like the brand as part of that question.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think Danielle is able to provide some general accessibility guidance there. All right. I think Matt, then we'll hear from you on several demos.
Demo time. All right, hold on. Let's bring the chat up over here. Let's move this guy on over to Meow. Demos. Uh-oh, where did Matt put his notes? He put them up here in the agenda instead of down on the demos slide. Okay. All right, let's share the screen. Screen one. There we go. Okay. So we're going to talk about several different things that we want to both show off and also kind of explain as well. So the first thing I want to touch on, we mentioned it earlier that the Kaltura media embeds are now working again. For those of you who are not aware or maybe didn't use these, something broke in I don't know where places, but we have been going back and forth trying to work with the Learn at UW team, with the Kaltura vendor itself, and then with our own WordPress instance, where the embeds stopped working for certain videos. There was inconsistencies across the board, but for certain videos, the Kaltura embeds just stopped working. So our recommendation was if you needed to use the video, you needed to link out to it. So thanks to the work that the Kaltura vendor did, Learn at UW team communicated for us, and then our developers worked on as well, this quote unquote should be working. I did post up above. We did see a couple of inconsistencies in that, but we're not certain if that was on our end or on the fixes end. But basically what you do now is when you go to a video, whoops, that's the wrong thing. There we go. When you go to a video and you want to embed it into your page, you would go to the share option right here. Apologies, I have a golden retriever coming up. You would go to the share option right there. You would choose the O embed option right here, and then you need to scroll on down and you need to choose the O embed player. These are the steps that you need to do to make it so that your video can be embedded. And then I'll come up here and I will copy this URL. I should have locked you out, bud. Sorry. And then I will come to where I am going to place that video. And so you will, I'll hit enter after the spot that I want to put it. You'll see that it will default to a paragraph block. And I'm just going to paste that right into my theme there. And if I hit save and we view the page, that video will embed as expected now. So this is what the process is. And I think I did put in there, I didn't, it's in my notes. Let me just look at my note. If you have already embedded them and they're working, or if they're not working, you still want to go back through and re-embed them just to make sure that nothing might happen with your videos. So I would just recommend going back through and updating your pages with the correct O embed link there. Give me a second. I'm going to put the dog out because he's just very.
I can, as you do that, Matt, I can
Yep,
address
it's okay.
Claire's question about embedding YouTube. Same thing. You just kind of drop that link in there.
Yeah, you grab the link and then you copy paste the YouTube link and it'll drop it right into there, and the block editor will know what type of block to use for that particular thing. Yeah, Jason, that's one of the things was like we were seeing the inconsistencies where even with this break, certain videos were still working. Like I had a couple of videos that nothing ever mattered, but newer videos were not working, and we didn't know what the date was for where it stopped working. So that's it. I want to include video transcripts with the video for accessibility. Yeah, so that's an interesting question that maybe I don't have the right answer for. So whenever I create a video, I immediately also create my own transcripts for them, and I also upload those transcripts to it's the caption file. I don't really know how to do captions per se, but I don't know where my. Let me see if I can grab one of my videos that I have created recently. UW theme training sections. Creating. Here we go. So yeah, so this is kind of what gets spit out. Okay, I'll walk through my process. It's easier to explain what my process is. I use the application OBS to record my videos. I then save those videos to a folder. This is in my UW theme training folder. I edit the video down to make it be what I want it to be. Once I'm done editing and I've locked the video, I export that particular video file. I also export an MP3 of that video. I then take that MP3 into an application called Audacity, and Audacity has AI tools that help me create the transcripts or the captions of it. I then save those transcripts and then I manually go through and clean them up because AI is great for speeding up my work, but it is not 100%. And you still need to go in and make sure that WiscWeb isn't WHISK web, like that kind of thing. So you just have to watch out for that stuff. And if I wanted to, I could probably go through and clean this up a little bit more and make this something that I would make maybe a PDF or a text file, and make that something that was downloadable as well. I'm not the best to answer that because all I do is really apply my captions to the video itself. I don't make them available for any other downloads or anything like that. But yeah. But yeah, I would reach out to the Center for User Experience for more guidance if you wanted for that one. Okay.
Yeah, I did throw a link in the chat
Yeah.
to make an accessible guide there. Hopefully that is helpful in your journey. And it looks like
Yep.
Daniela was also able to follow up. I'd say include a link to the transcript in the video description, either a link to the transcript on the web page or a document file. Some media players include a searchable transcript that is synced to the video in real time, but that isn't fulfilling the same need as static page file where users can read through the full transcript.
So what you're saying, Daniela, is that I'm doing it wrong. Okay.
Thanks for sharing that, Daniela.
Yep. Okay. Let's talk about deep linking into accordion panels and tab groups. So this one's a little bit tricky. So stay with me. Apologies if I kind of get confused myself because I'm still tinkering with how this works. So I do have a page that I've called Tabs and Accordions. I'll just edit it real quick. And I've created a tab group and I have added a couple of tabs to it, and I've also added some accordion panels to it. So one of the things that you need to be aware of is deep linking, and I'll show you how it works in a second here. Deep linking on a page does not work. So like this one here, I have it linked to jump down to something. It doesn't work. The panel one doesn't work either. So that's the first thing that you just need to be aware of is if you're trying to deep link to something on page, it's not going to work. You can deep link to something from another page or post or wherever it might be. So what the process is one, you create your tab groups and you create your various tabs. Same with panels. You create your various panels. And what you'll notice is when I click on one of these tabs up here in the address bar, you will notice that when I click on one, it creates the URL for it. This is the direct URL that you will need to link to this particular tab, or the same will be true for the panel. So if I want to link to tab number 2, I'm going to grab this full URL here, jump back over to here. Well, we'll change this real quick. I will paste that in. 2. Okay, so we have that there. And then same deal with panel number 3. I'm going to click on that to expand it. And then I will grab that URL and I will link that into here. And then I will save. And then I will view this page. And we'll see here if I click on this one, open it in a new tab, it jumps right to tab number 2 right there. And you'll see the panels are closed. And then same deal, if I click on panel number 3, it immediately jumps down and opens up panel number 3 there. So, yep. So that's how deep linking into those things works. So again, if you have any questions about that, go ahead and throw those into the chat and we'll try to answer those as best as we can. There's a couple of things in here that I don't actually have the spaces for in here, but let's go back into that page. My tabs and accordions. So a couple of things to be aware of as you are doing your editing. I'm exceptionally bad at this, but when you are editing your page and you just click in as you are working with things, there are times when you will accidentally create this little hanging paragraph tag. It's just the way that the block editor is, where it always assumes that if you're at the end and you click, it's going to add that particular paragraph tag into there. And you don't think about it because you're like, oh, I haven't added a block into there, so I don't have to worry about it, except that paragraph block is saved there. So you have to watch out for that, because if I take a look at this page, there's that little space, that added paragraph block area in between where my panel is, my panel group is, and where my footer begins. And I didn't want that. So I need to go in and I need to delete this guy. So I can just go over here into my list view, click on the 3-dot options, delete it. It's gone. Go over here. I'm going to be closer. There we go. And so now that paragraph block is gone. It's just the way that the block editor is, that when you do that, it automatically assumes that you're going to start something there. So it adds that lingering paragraph block. You just have to watch out for it. And you might not even realize it's there. I realized it's there because this background here was red, and then all of a sudden there was that white chunk right beneath it. You'll see it if you're using those background colored sections throughout your site. You'll see it when you have something like that. So just watch out for that and just delete them as you see them. And again, like I said, it's unavoidable. You just have to be aware of it. Stop. Thank you. Okay. And then I don't know why I'm racing. We got plenty of time. Slow down, Matt. Slow down. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about spacing issues. Another one that we have noticed that people have been running into and have been trying to fix is creating blocks that are against each other rather than this additional space that appears in between them. Again, this is a default function when creating the blocks. There is some added margin to the top of a block that automatically gets created. So how you would get rid of this and make these two flush is I would go to my panel group, which is this guy right here. And I have the block selected. I would go over here to the settings sidebar, this little icon right there. I would go on down to the bottom and you'll see there's a margin option. And margin is space outside of the block itself. And what I want to do is and you'll see it says that there's none there, which isn't true because there's some there by default. So what I need to do is just basically do this. I clicked on it. Literally the only thing I did was I clicked on it at the 0 spot. Now I could add more if I wanted to, but I don't want any. I want them up against each other. You just have to go in there and remove that margin. It's there by default. You just have to do it.
Matt, can you show like how if you just wanted to do it on the top only?
Yes, I
Because
could.
right now in that view, you're actually adjusting top and bottom margin
Yes,
at the
I am.
same time.
I know this is my bottom block, so
Yeah.
that's kind of why I did that. Yeah, so if
It's
I
just
only
handy to show, yeah.
and I might get into this more with the padding one because I'm going to touch on that in a second here.
Mhm.
But if you wanted to individually affect the sides that are available, there's this little link icon within each of those dimension options. And if I click on that, it unlinks the two from each other, or in the case of padding, it unlinks the 4 from each other. And now if I wanted to, I would just have to set the top margin to be none. And I could leave the bottom margin alone if I wanted to. Or I could add some to the bottom if I was feeling saucy. So that's the margins aspect of it and the removing the stray paragraph blocks. I also want to touch on, just because it's in the same line of thought, I've been working with a number of groups where they are creating content and they may have, so if I click into my panel here and I have my accordion panels here, and if I set these to wide width, um, this isn't the best example. The best example is like paragraphs and things like that. Why don't I just do that real quick? Okay. So now I have this paragraph here, and I want this paragraph to fit wider than what we have right here. So what I would end up doing is, because of the way that paragraphs work, I don't have an option for setting it wide. So I would group this. I would then set my group. If you just, all I did was I opened up the options on the paragraph and I clicked group. That makes it a group content item, group content section. And then on the group itself, I might set that one to wide width or full width. Depends on what I'm doing with this particular block of content. So maybe I want this block to stand out a little bit more. So I'll go light gray as well. And so you'll see, this is terrible visually, but I'm doing this just for the example. But you'll see that I have a wide, a full block of the group itself. But if I go into the group itself and uncheck this guy, the inner blocks use content width, you'll see that it expanded that paragraph all the way to the end. Now, my recommendation would be leave it tight. That would be the design recommendation, would be leave it tight. There's no reason for that text to go beyond. The one conversation, or the one thing that I've been pointing out to people quite a bit, is when I'm demonstrating things, I'm on a 32-inch monitor. My monitor is gigantic. So that wide looks way wider than what it might look like on somebody who's viewing this on a laptop or a standard um, monitor. It just looks ridiculous on mine because of how wide my monitor is. So don't overthink this. Keeping it tight into the none spacing is just fine. But I want to show people this so that you're aware of it and how to fix it. So if I uncheck this, unselect this, you'll see that my paragraph went all the way out to the edge. Now what I can do is I can go down, and on this particular group, I can set the padding at a certain width. So if I wanted it to be the same as the wide width of my panel group below, I can try and eyeball that. And then same with top and bottom. Now, for our blocks, for our patterns that we have created, the padding for top and bottom that we have been setting is 2XL. You can play around with that if you want to, or you can just bring it up to the default there. But just kind of just eyeball what looks good. There's so much I'm trying to throw into this. I apologize. The thing to remember when you're dealing with these paddings is you don't want stuff to be so tight because of readability. You want to add that spacing in so that it's easier for your eyes to go through a page and find those sections of content. If it's all tight, it's not easy to discern where those sections of content end and the next one begins. So you do want to add padding so that you can create those sort of natural visual breaks in there.
Yeah, Matt, I wanted to jump in because I think Danielle had additional kind of nuance here with what they're seeing as they sort of look at folks who've already transitioned to UW
Yes,
Theme 2.0. So,
please.
Danielle, feel free to chime in if there's anything.
Yeah, thank you. So I did just want to flag that, and I may tap Kate again to jump in and help clarify, but we intentionally build in some padding around certain elements to help group content together to make things more scannable and readable. And so I just want to encourage folks to use the default padding that comes along with the patterns as much as possible. Um, I think what we've seen is there's a number of folks who will drop in a pattern and then remove the padding, and then everything ends up being really tightly spaced, and that would just be, you know, we have built the design best practices into the pattern, so would really encourage folks to keep those as much as possible. Yeah, and Kate, definitely chime in if you have any other details to add there, because I am not the designer. I am I'm a step removed from that.
Yeah, no, Danielle, you said it perfectly. We've built in the, amount of spacing that we want you to be using in the patterns. They're designed to be used together, ideally with alternating background colors to distinguish those content sections.
Yep. Like I said, I'm showing this just because it's something that I've been seeing people struggle with. Please note this thing right here. Always try to use a pattern first. We have a number of patterns that exist within our library. You're able to create your own patterns, but we would encourage you to try to follow the same design principles when you are creating those patterns. So just try to be aware of what you're doing and how it's going to be perceived when someone is viewing your website. So, okay. Last things last, let's head on back to the edit page here. And so one of the other things that we are wanting to show is the UW Events plugin. We launched the UW Events plugin last month, I believe, officially, although some had been sort of soft testing it and soft using it for us before our official launch. But it's now out there in the wild for you to activate. So if you needed to activate it, you would go to your plugins section and you would go to UW Events Gutenberg and you would activate it there. And then what you would get is this UW Events section on the left here. And then you can go in and start to create your own events. So I'll click add a new event. Let's go WiscWeb April Lunch and Learn. Locations Zoom. I could add in the Zoom URL in here if I was better prepared. I know this is going to be the second Thursday of April, so it's going to be April 9th. You'll notice that we do have options for all-day events as well as multi-day events. So you can put those in, and then you can add some other links to things, like if you had an agenda or some related documents that you might want to add. And then also, as is the case with everything in UW Theme 2.0 and the block editor, you have access to the block editor. So you can also add some more content to this event if you wanted to. There are all of these various predefined values up here, similar to the UW People uh, uh, plugin as well. So there are some things that you need up here, but then you can add additional information down here if you want. I could set an event image if I wanted to. Let's go slothy. Jenna, just a note, the no alt text doesn't show up for this image in this particular view
Oh,
here.
in the UW event.
Yeah, in this single event.
Thank you.
Yep, I just noticed that. Hey, troubleshooting while we're demoing. Do it live. Okay. Anywho, that's there. Now I can publish this event, and the event exists. If I want to view it, there it is. There's my sloth. Again, if I had other things, it would start to appear beneath here. So now that I have created all of my events, you'll see I have a number of them here. I can go into the page that I want to display these on, and I can add the UW events. I'm sorry, not the UW events, the events list block. It's not the UW events, but it's the events list block. So I can click on that and add that, and it will automatically start to populate based on what I have set for the defaults. And so some of the things that I can add are, if I wanted to differentiate by categories, I could start to type in a category in here if I wanted to search for it. I can up the number of events, increase the number of events that are visible in there. I can have the show more link right here, which is, do I want people to go see more events? I could add that down there. I can add additional links, more upcoming events. And then if I had a different URL than the default WordPress one, I could put that down there as well. I can turn on certain things, locations, excerpts if I wanted to, although I didn't add any excerpts to any of these. And I could also style this as a card, referring back to what Kate had said earlier. You kind of want to watch out for that style as a card thing, because of the fact that if I'm suddenly doing 15 events to display, that's overusing it. That might be an overuse of the card style in this area. But if I really wanted to maybe just highlight a couple of events based on a particular category, I might add a couple of events lists and then just maybe make a category that's called important or top or something like that, and display those events here as part of it. Okay, so if I save this, I'm going to take it out of the card style though, because I want it to look like the list that it is. So I have this now. I'll save it. We'll jump out and take a look at what it looks like. And there is, are there still event categories? Yes, there are, Claire. I didn't add any to mine, but if I go into the UW events, and I'll edit this one right here specifically. If I go over to the right side in the settings bar of the event itself, there is an events category area. And then I could just say new event category. We'll call it lunch and learn. And I'll add it, and it's checked, and then I'll click save, and we're good there. I'll come back to that. I might have time to come back to that. All right. Okay, so there's my events list there. So the other thing that we are trying to address in a request that had come in is, what do I do if I have events in other locations, or if I want to highlight events from another site? You do have the ability to create an events list. So I'm going to, I'm just going to put another header in here, and let's just say, let's call this housing events. I'll use housing because I know they're using the events, call it the events calendar, the UW events plugin. And I'll just hit enter here, and I'll add the events list block right there. Again, it defaults to the events of the site that I am working on. But if I know that housing also has events that I want to display, I'm going to go out and I'm just going to grab the URL for them. You can see right here, they are using the events. You don't need a specific sub page or anything like that. All you need is the top level URL of the site that you want to use these from. And then I'm going to come over here, and at the very top, there is a UW events URL field. And I'm just going to drop that in, and you'll see it has now updated to be the events being pulled from the housing site. And so if I go down here, maybe I want to show 5 down here. I can't remember how many I'm showing here. 5 there, 5 there. So that is how you can use them, use the events. Go ahead and throw in questions. I'm going to do a little something here just to kind of show off a couple of the other things that I would use when I'm doing things like this. So the first thing was the categories. So maybe I want to do an events list right up here at the top. I'm going to set it to be one event, but I'm going to set the category to be lunch and learn. So there is my one right there. And then I'm going to turn off the show more link, and I'm going to style this one as a card. And maybe right above this, I might go upcoming lunch and learn. And there we go. And so this one will always be the next most lunch and learn if I keep using that category over and over. And I set it as a card style to make it stand out a little bit more. The category on the other site would probably be the easiest way. I don't really know how to answer that, because as far as I knew, you couldn't limit what was coming from the other site because you have no control over the events list coming in. You get everything from that site. Am I wrong, Andy? Are you here?
It's been a while since I played with it, but I was pretty sure that you could still select categories
Let me see.
if they had categories set up.
Yeah, let me go down and let's just see. Do they have categories? Residence hall dates. So if I were to grab this URL, oh folks, hold on. We're learning on the fly. And I put this URL in. Nope, something went wrong. Please fix your URL.
Try using the regular URL and then just clicking on
I
the
see what you're
categories.
saying. Yeah. Tab. Okay. Oh. Yes, if. It's a big if, because you have to assume that they are using categories. But yes. That's pretty cool. I did not know about that. Yes. Let's see here. The other thing that I was going to show was, so like I've got these two different events here. Maybe right before, if I add before, and I'll add in upcoming events here, and then we have housing events there. One of the things that I might do is I might group all this stuff into different sections, and then I would probably turn it into a 2-column layout so that these events were side by side. So I'm actually going to get rid of this one right here because it won't fit into the scheme that I'm trying to build there. So like I have upcoming events and events list. I'm going to select both of those and group those, and I'll rename this upcoming events. And then I'm going to grab housing events and that events list, and I'm also going to group those, and I will rename that one housing events. This is, so I posted it earlier. We've had a lot of chat, which is fabulous, but I posted a training video earlier, kind of going through the concept of creating sections of content, specifically grouping contents together, and renaming that content. So I'd recommend giving that video a watch, because it does kind of go through this concept to make life easier for you to find things over here on the left, as well as, things like, background colors and stuff like that. So anyways, I now have my upcoming events and my housing events. I'm going to do this how I would do it. There's probably a better way to do it, but I'm going to create a columns block. I'm going to set it to be 50-50, 2-column 50-50. And now that I have these grouped, I'm just going to drag my upcoming events down into the first column. And then I'm going to grab my housing events down into the second column. Whoops, get in there. There we go. Let me get rid of this real quick. Whoops, yeah, and then we'll close that. And so there we go. And so now I've just created this little 2-column layout with events on each side of it. I can play around with this column. I might want to group this column. I would group this column's group. Sounds weird, but I could add a background color to it if I wanted to. I could set this to full width. And now I have that. I don't know about that, but the white text stuff on that. Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry, I always forget. I'm very much a keyboard user. I don't like having to go click here, scroll down here. The slash search works so great when when your brain moves faster than your mouth like mine does. It just helps me out so much where I could just, here's a group block. And now I could create the type of group that I want and then start to drag some things around in there if I wanted to. But again, this kind of stuff, the slashes, the dragging things around, it'll come. I started out where you all are last year when I just started learning Theme 2.0 and we hadn't yet launched everything yet. I was learning from the same space everybody else was. I don't spend nearly as much time in it as everyone else does. You'll get comfortable, I promise. Okay, 12:58, 2 minutes. Questions, go.
We've had a lot of questions in the chat. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
we've
haven't
been
been able
trying
to
to
keep up.
keep up, but if
Yeah.
there's anything that didn't get answered, please let us know. I'm just looking through. There were some nice resources about line length provided,
Yeah.
links to office hours for accessibility. We kind of went through a lot of the event related questions.
Yeah.
I reshared your sections of
Yes,
content
thank you.
video.
Yeah, Justin, once I get the Zoom artifacts, I'll go through the process that I described earlier. I'll download it, I'll export the MP3, I will edit the MP3 or edit the transcription, upload it to our YouTube channel, and I will send out an email with it.
Yeah. Not seeing anything else come through,
Nope.
but thanks to all for your
Yeah,
kind words in the chat. That was very sweet.
go ahead and stop recording there. Thanks, everybody.